Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Managed office space provider Smartworks has launched Smartworks Technology Services, a building operating platform and workspace management SaaS product targeted at landlords and organizations. In fact, it has also invested $25 million into its new arm. To find out more about this new venture, we're now joined by Neetish Sarda, the founder of Smartworks. My colleague Mugdha Varya also joins in. Neetish, thank you so much for joining us on the show. You've launched your new venture, Smartworks Technology Services. Can you take us through this new venture and what exactly is on offer?
Sure, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. I think what essentially where we see the opportunity with the new Smartworks venture is, office spaces generally have seen limited amount of digital innovation in it. And where we saw the opportunity right after pandemic is everyone all of a sudden started talking about hybrid working. They started talking about how to introduce, a staggered working environment into their workspaces. And it was only possible by adding a layer of digital services over and above the physical space that you have in order to implement that. So we saw this as an opportunity. And since we already have an existing portfolio of about 4.5 million square foot of space running across the country, we developed a solution which helps us manage the building as well as manage the workforce for the employers within their office spaces. We've seen a significant amount of adoption and inquiries coming in for this kind of a product, specifically in the last couple of quarters, where people have now all of a sudden started asking their people to come back to work and want to implement some sort of an hybrid work environment. And in order to do that, they need a digital platform that can enable them to do it in scale.
So manage your buildings and help manage the employees per se. Now, these solutions were initially built in-house for your existing clients. So you currently have around 400 clients that are benefiting from these solutions. So how do you plan on growing this client base? You're also selling these solutions now to external clients?
Yes, absolutely. I think how we look at these products is internally within our the 400 plus clients that we have within Smartworks are more of an are the R&D center for us, where we're essentially able to ask them what are some of the solutions that you want within your office spaces. And then we are creating these products. And now it's not just limited to the Smartworks ecosystem. We have multiple clients outside the Smartworks ecosystem who are implementing this within the spaces. And it's not just limited to India. In fact, some of them are also looking at deploying this globally within their office spaces.
All right, so external clients also looking at your products. Neetish, hi, Mugdha here. This is a very interesting product, but I want to just take a step back and ask you a little bit about the trends that you're seeing in the industry, especially now. How are you looking at this scare over the Omicron virus affecting, return to work? Because like you mentioned, over the past few quarters, a lot of companies had started return to work. Will there be any impact? And will it then have any further impact on enterprises looking for more office spaces? What are your clients telling you?
No, absolutely. I think obviously there is a little bit of worry on the Omicron. People had started opening up offices in larger fashions in which they were calling almost 50 to 70% of the employees, depending on the category, back to work. But I think what essentially everyone knows is that whether the Omicron wave comes or doesn't come, people have to come back to work eventually. They essentially want to get their people back. The trends that we are seeing is people are now looking at a more diversified office portfolio. They're not restricting themselves and getting in all their employees into one buildings. They're looking at spreading their offices across multiple locations in a city. And for that, you really need a layer of technology to help you maintain and manage those offices across these different locations. That's where we saw the opportunity of opening up the tech division. And then we plan to invest about $25 million over the next couple of years to grow the business, hire more talent, and essentially go back to our customers and ask what else can we do in order to make sure that you run your workspaces in a better manner.
Okay, so people will eventually come back to offices. That's the bet that you're taking. We are also at the end of 2021. Could you take us through some of the key trends in the managed office spaces and the flexible workspaces sector in this year? We saw many enterprises incorporating a flex space component in their portfolio. Even you said that a lot of companies are looking at hybrid work models. Could you share some insights on what sectors did you see maximum demand from? What are the trends like in smaller cities, etc.?
No, absolutely. I think in terms of demand, it's been pretty much from all the sectors across, right? Initially, pre-pandemic, most of our focus was towards the IT sector. But I think what the pandemic has done is essentially it's opened up this market for everyone, whether it's the IT sector or the manufacturing. We have a lot of NBFCs, banks, manufacturing units sitting out of our spaces now. I think this has become an alternate solution to office space. Earlier, people were just looking at moving a certain percentage of their offices into managed workspace solutions. But now I think they're opening up and saying that, all right, why can't I move my entire setup? Specifically, if you're not, if you don't have a significant amount of scale across India. I think the second, two other trends that we're definitely seeing is, the increase in demand for the tier 2 cities. What people have realized is a lot of their employees have gone back to their hometowns and are working out of their hometowns in the last 1.5 years. And if they are able to work from there, why do you need to really call them back to the cities? So we're definitely seeing a lot of increase in demand for cities like Jaipur, Indore, Lucknow, where earlier there wasn't a lot of movement for office spaces, but now all of a sudden these cities have popped up as preferred locations. I think the second trend is more around what I was saying earlier, is on a hub and spoke model. Pre-pandemic, everyone was looking at consolidation, right? You have 4 offices across India, across the city. You want to consolidate that into one location. I think now people have come up and said that, no, I don't want to do that. I want to have 4 offices across the city because I want to tap into all the talent in different locations. And second, I just in case of a pandemic, if one location shuts down, I at least have the opportunity of the other locations, being up and running.
Absolutely. So seeing a lot more demand coming from tier 2 and 3 cities. Now I'm going to circle back to this new venture, and you said you're going to invest $25 million over the next couple of years. So what will the funds essentially be used for? And can you tell us a little bit about your growth targets for the company and what's your revenue model?
So essentially, it's a SaaS-based product at the end of the day. So there are 2 products which are essentially being developed. There is a product which is for the companies to manage their workspace, which is the SaaS-based product, which is already underway. The other product is the Workspace experience app, essentially, which is not just limiting to what all is present within the building, but we also have a layer of providing integrating transportation, integrating food and other services that you require within your office space. Why we think it's very important is what the pandemic has done is essentially people have been at home, and for the last 1.5 years, they've gotten used to getting all of these services within their houses. When companies want to call their employees back, they would have to give more than what they were providing earlier. And the layer of digital technology enables them to give more services within their space. I think the money that we're going to invest over the next couple of years is essentially going to be increasing the product line. We're not just limiting ourselves to the existing SaaS product, but I think there are so many other developments, whether it's building automation, whether it's adding other layers of services which can be deployed within the premises. All of those are going to be developed. Also, we are looking at expanding, with this product globally. We're not restricting ourselves to just operating this in India. Because it's a digital product, we have the ability of, scaling up fairly quickly, especially in the APAC region.
All right, so global plans there. And lastly, you also have hiring plans. You look to hire over 100 employees in the next 2 years. What's your current employee strength like? And what are your hiring plans looking like, especially given this whole, tech talent war that's playing out?
Absolutely. I think overall, Smartworks is close to about a 450 to 500 employee number. Our tech division has significantly grown. We've recently onboarded our CEO, Anuj, who comes with a vast experience with his stint in JLL Spark. We're now looking at building the tech division. Currently, I think the number stands at about 30 or 35 people, which is going to scale up to about 100, 120, hopefully in the next quarter or 2. And essentially, there is definitely a significant amount of scarcity of technology talent. But I think if you're creating a product which is different, it attracts the developers to come and essentially be a part of that growth journey. So I think we're just depending on the fact that this is something which is not developed yet. This is something which requires a lot of innovation, where we're seeing a lot of interest coming in from the from the developers to come and be a part of this journey.
All right, Neetish, all the best with your plans. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. More news and updates coming up on the other side.